Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station travel show with Nancy and Lisa, publishers of Big Blend magazines. So every first Saturday, we get to chat with travel writer Linda Kissam. We call her the food, wine, and shopping. And you know what? She's got good taste. That's what it's all about. So you can follow her at allingoodtaste.info, follow all her adventures. But every summer, she and her husband Alan go from their home in Arizona to the Pacific Northwest, and they go on a boating adventure. Last year, they were on a 3-month boating adventure through Alaska. This year, they kind of chilled out because I know they're getting, well, actually, when this airs, the 1st of October, they would have just arrived home from a cruise in Europe. So very excited to have her back on the show to catch up with her summer boating adventures in the Pacific Northwest. So Diva Linda, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. We're just about ready to tie up the boat and do all the things that a boat needs to have done to it before we leave. And next week we're off to get ready to go on our cruise. We have to head down to California and drop off suitcases and pick up other ones, and then hop on a plane, drop the dog off, and away we go.
Oh, little Scotty dog. So, and listen, your doggies are cute, and you know,
he's very
so
cute.
do you go through training like to make a dog boat worthy?
You know, this will be our second dog. Yeah, our second dog on a boat, and they either have it or they don't. This one, luckily, like the last one, adapted really quickly. We were, the worst thing for us is, and many people, is if you have a dog aboard, what are you going to do when it needs to go to the bathroom? And I mean, that's not an exciting subject, but that's when you can tell if they're going to adapt or not. And this one, she runs, she's still a puppy, so she runs around and around and around the boat. She gets up on the front of the boat and barks at other dogs and other people. So, by 8 o'clock at night, she's tired, and, that works out for everybody.
Well, what do you do with the potties? And by the way, boat worthy, I meant like sea legs. I didn't mean boat worthy. That sounded bad. But I mean, what do you do? Do you hold her over the boat? What do you do?
No. These dogs either come equipped to not be sick, or they. The two biggest three issues are: will they get seasick? Will they be afraid when you turn on the engine? Will that just totally freak them out? And then forever, every time you turn on the engine, it takes hours to get them to calm down. And then the third one is, how do they adapt in terms of their play and their poop? So we got another winner this time. She seems to do just fine.
It's amazing. We were with some friends on a lake and I was watching this one. He looked like a German short-haired pointer from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I could see. And he was on the speedboat on the hood. Is it going to be the hood, the front of the boat? Yeah. And he was just loving it. I mean, and I'm like, I don't know how he keeps his balance, and they're going over wakes, and he's just like, wee. And then when he got to the dock, everybody got off the boat, and he's like, no, I'm staying. He just was like into it. He's like, I'm staying. This is my boat. Don't come by me. I'll bite you. This is mine. It was cool. It's just like, wow, man. Because
they're very lucky. Yeah.
Because he was just, this is my boat. So
well, there are dogs. I mean, there's that bulldog that surfs, and so like there's, some dogs really dig it, and some dogs are like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not getting in the car.
That's
I'm not, everybody's a little different,
But it's when they like it.
Those of you who have dogs like it. Yeah, well, it's the same as if you have a dog at home, and some dogs you cannot put in the car, right? The minute they get in the car, they won't go. They hate it. They throw up in it. They, or they get in it and they go, oh yeah, I'm going to have a treat of some kind. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so we're lucky. This one's a very, very good boat dog. So we'll see.
Cool.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's talk about your boat at the 50-foot Ocean Alexander. that was moored in or moored in Elliott Bay. So that's out in Seattle area. So this is a yacht, right? We have to get into the specifics again on boats because you got to teach Nancy and I about this boating stuff.
Well, I don't know specifically if there's a very vague kind of definition. I don't think there's an official explanation or definition of what a yacht means, but probably if it's over 45 feet, 42 feet, right around in there, then it gets yacht status. But, boats of this size are harder to dock. They're less likely to find dock space because they need a longer turnaround, back out, move in sort of thing. So the higher you go in how long these things are, the more difficult it can be to maneuver them, to find a place for them. But they're more comfortable by leaps and bounds. But what's comfortable for me, probably is not comfortable for somebody else. But this particular boat, this is our second boat, has a large salon, which is important if you're going to live aboard the boat for any amount of time, and it has a good solid kitchen and a nice main bedroom, which is comparable to anything that you might get at a hotel. And then and the only drawback for me is that it only has one bathroom. I need a whole bathroom all to myself for all my stuff, just to get my stuff in there.
Here we go with the diva. Do you have a shoe cabinet? Do you have a cabinet for the shoes? I loved it because, and everyone, Diva's got a short article about it and some photos up on blendradioandtv.com. Just type in summer boating adventure and you'll find it. Or just type in Diva and you'll find all our articles too and interviews. But at the end of your article, you say, my husband and I both wear sturdy high water rubber boots. Boots, yeah.
She's got to have room for her boots in the bathroom.
And so I'm like going, here she goes. She has to make reference to shoes. So is this like, is that it? Like when you get on there, are you just, it's rubber boots for the Diva the whole time or?
Well, if you're going to take your skiff, your second little boat from your big boat to wherever you're going, whether that's you're going to go just on the beach or you're going to go into town or whatever, you have to decide what kind of shoes you're going to wear because, as I found out, you cannot wear prom shoes to these things. You can't. If you go on the beach, it's going to be rocky, and if you wear really thin shoes of any kind, you're going to slip, slide, and it's going to hurt the bottom of your feet. So you don't want to do that. And then if it rains a good amount, then it's going to be muddy, and you don't want to put your good shoes through that. And then the last thing is when you take your skiff to to another dock place, like going to Paul's Boat, I thought it would be much more glamorous, but it's not. You take your boat, you tie it up to the side of some dock, and you pray that they've taken care of the visitor dock. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to crawl over piping. Sometimes you have to land yourself on a shredded wooden dock. There's all sorts of things, and you have to have pretty darn good balance for this. Otherwise, you're rocking and rolling and praying that you're not falling down in front of everybody or falling into the water. So good shoes are essential. And this year I found a good docking, meaning getting on the regular docks pair of shoes. And if you're going to go to the sand, sea, water, mud, conglomerate sort of thing, you got to have some high boots. So I have a pair of pink and purple boots. Actually, I will send you a picture of. I forgot to do that. And they look like little children's boots that you have when you're little. Yeah, they're great. And then for the really big stuff, I have my biker boots that I bought in Alaska last year, where there's nothing that's going through them. They're nothing. I mean, those things are like a big rubber ball on your foot. So. That's the life of boating. You don't get to be too glamorous. Actually, I've given up a lot of the clothes I brought when I first started, and more utilitarian now. But there you are. But
now you get to get glamorous.
For the Diva.
The next time we chat with you, right now I know this airs October. We're still in summer, everyone, and Diva Linda and her husband are about to go on this big, European cruise, where you guys don't have to do any of the work, and now you can be glamorous again. She can, get her tiara back on.
Well, I was thinking that, and then I got the manifesto from the two groups that we're going to go with. We're going on a 2-week cruise, and then we're going on a 10-day or so land tour. That's the word I'm using, land tour. And I'm reading the specifications, and they say bring sturdy shoes because you're going to be on cobblestones and whatnot. And I thought, oh, there it goes again. There it is.
You can't be
no
doing
way
the
that I get to
heels.
wear. Yeah, I'm not going to be wearing my Ralph Lauren. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. So
not on cobblestones.
and you can't bring. I used to bring a suit. I used to bring just one little suitcase full of shoes, and now it's down to 2. That's it. Just 2 shoes.
Actually, you know what? With Nancy and I traveling the country, right? So it's one suitcase each, and now it's gotten to a point where we really need to just throw everything out and start over. It's really bad. And then we go, listen, we're going to a farm for 2 months, and
we're
like, what's the point?
Boy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we have shoes that we have. Nancy walks around in kayaking, these plasticky open kayaking shoes.
I like it because I can go
handy.
anywhere. I can walk into a river or a lake with them.
But that's why the rooster chased you on the farm last
I know,
time.
well, but the rooster's
turquoise kayaking shoes. I'm just saying, it's like a flashback to the 80s when girls would wear those plastic sandals. No,
dude, the dog took the rooster
God love
out.
you if you can do it.
Yeah, but
I think this is or something like that.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing though, because
like
you are living in a limited capacity, right? So everything is, you can't have everything, and even food. Isn't that also a deal? Like food is a whole. This is cool. We're going to talk about the destinations, but actually, boat life is. We kind of live in a similar way because it's almost like Nancy are even though we're in different homes and hotels and stuff, you're still camping. It's like you don't buy the big jar of mayonnaise; you buy the little one.
No. That's right. There's no Costco. You do not go to Costco. Yeah.
There are no. There's no Sam's Club, no Costco's, no Giant anything. And coffee is always smaller.
And if you go to a fast food place for a hamburger or something, and they hand you the bag, you like, could I have more mustard? Could I have more mayonnaise?
I know.
So you get a little
I
plastic.
understand.
Yeah.
I know when I first come here, when we first check in, the first day or so, and I go to the store and I buy all the little sizes of everything, and I'm doing salt, pepper, that sort of thing over again. By the time they get to halfway through the basket, it's a $500, visit. They say, oh, you must live on a boat. Yeah,
that's
everything is in ones and twos and littles, and I think they depend on the boat people to come in and have to replenish quite a bit.
Well, actually, I find this really, fascinating to talk with you about your boating adventure in the Pacific Northwest, because Nancy and I were there in the winter. I think we'll meet you in the summer next time, Belinda. I'm just going to say. But really, the Pacific Northwest is magic. Now, we had the experience of rain and rain and rain and rain.
And more rain.
But then we did have these beautiful sunny days where you realize the importance of the rain, just like when we were in Madison, Wisconsin during the snow and visited then that, a few months later for spring, we're like, oh, look what the snow did to make all these flowers bloom,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a trade-off. And I think it's good to experience all of it,
Sure.
You have a better idea of what the locals go through, but Nancy and I went to a lot of harbors. We went, we were in Whidbey Island, Anacortes. We went through Long Beach. We went to, I don't think we were in the same places, but near you. We were kind of near where some of the places you were. But it was really interesting because of you coming on the shows and talking about your boating experiences. Our eyes were open to the services and how the docks worked, and it, like, they have signs out it was Il Waco. I think we were Il Waco in Washington State. And, and there's like no dumping except for the people who pay to dock. Like if you,
Right.
and Washington State
Yeah.
is picky about their trash,
They are.
We literally live across the country in every place we go. Some places we're, burning trash in a barrel. Some
Yeah.
places you're composting. There's in Washington State has the smallest trash cans, the biggest recycling and composting bins.
Hint.
But then,
If you can find
and
it,
if you
yeah.
go in the parks, no, they're very, very conscious
Mhm.
about trash,
Mhm.
recycling,
Mhm.
about all of it, and which I really think is amazing. But then here we go, like, what do you do with trash, right? And so some people just
Mhm.
take it to dumps, and I'm going, what do you do with your trash on the boat? And here's all these trash cans, and I'm around, walking the dog with a poopy bag, and I'm like, you don't dare put that
Oh,
poopy
no.
bag in that
No.
trash can. You're going to
No.
get arrested. Someone's going to
Yeah.
get you.
There's
You're going to walk
fines.
home with it. But I mean, all these fines. So these ports are really interesting how they're set up for, like, you can get off your boat, and some of you have to go in your skiffy thing and
The
paddle
skippy
around.
thing.
Yeah.
But like
Yep.
they're set up with like shops, like it's like a mini. In the
Mall.
Pacific Northwest, it's like not giant, right? Giant kind of city stuff. Or, well, you went to Pike's Market, but you know what I mean? They seem these very
Yep.
quaint places where, it's like, it's a different kind of downtown. It's a downtown on
Yep.
the water, but
Yep.
they set it up for the boaters, like, small airplane places with small airports.
Mhm.
Wait for the,
Mhm.
they have car people that will come and take you and around and stuff. So this is
Mhm.
a whole thing that I think sometimes we forget in the tourism market. Like, this is an industry, a tourism industry that's
Of
going
course.
on.
Yeah.
It's a very strong one, and it's a very different one. And I just, as you know, because we just talked about this, I just experienced the small farm experience destination this year, and wow! I mean, I've lived in the Pacific Northwest full time for about 11 years, and I never went and saw that. Never really experienced that. I've been in and out every year since, and this is the first year that I actually did the small farm thing, and that's totally different than going to Pike Place Market or downtown Seattle or Olympia or whatever you want to do. So this is a grand place that has its nose to the grindstone on environmental stuff. You're right; it's very hard. Even when you go to, you probably noticed this, when you go to fast food places, there are no dump receptacles in the parking lot. Now, I don't know where they're. I guess they're expecting that if you drove through, that you are going to keep that trash in your car until you get home. Very strange, but it tends to work for them. And we have every warning sign that you could ever imagine on our dock. This is a very upscale dock, and they do not want you littering, trashing, looking too far, doing anything. And as I understand it, we just figured out this last year. The environmental agencies are really focusing in on the marinas because they don't want people to live in the marinas on the boat. There's I think they get a certain percentage. You have X amount of docks and you can have X amount of liveaboards. They call them liveaboards. And liveaboards pay more money than the ones that just hop on the boat and take it out and bring it back. But they're very, very strict rules, and there are people that walk the docks all the time.
Wow!
At least once a week, maybe more, checking your electricity use to see if you're here more than you should be. They check your gate codes. They do this.
Holy
they do
cow!
That.
Wow!
So yeah, and it's all. I think it's all has to do with who they answer to. And how many people they can have doing what we're doing. We're not really a liveaboard because we usually hop on the boat and go someplace and come back and hop on the boat and go someplace. But it's an interesting city.
But that is something we're seeing also on the road. Okay, so Nancy and I will travel, and we do get hotels and stuff when we can stay. And it makes sense to offload the car, quite frankly, because we're always, in between places, and we'll go do our parks. And to me, to get a hotel room for 2 to 3 hours is stupid. We just rest in a rest area, close our eyes, and people watch. That's the whole thing.
That's
It's
the
one of
best
our favorite things is going to rest areas and people watching. But I
I'm
bet
gonna
you do
write
it
a
at the
book, I
docks. Don't you
swear.
sit there in your boat and look at everybody and see
No,
what's
it's
come on?
funny.
It's fun, so it's a different thing. But like rest areas, some welcome. They're like, come camping here, do this. Some are actual places where you have gazebos and barbecues and families. We've watched families, especially during COVID, unite. And one guy, this was in Arkansas. It's really true. Brought a smoker on the back of his pickup truck,
That
and
was
all
so
these
funny.
they had like a family party at a rest area. And I'm going, what the heck is this? But then you get to Florida and you have rest area Rambo, who will come and give you a sticker and say you need to drive off by this time. You can't be here more than 3 hours because
wow.
No, and he put his hand inside the car.
I'm like, I'm gonna smack it.
No, really. I was like, he's lucky that I wasn't sitting in the driver's seat. I would have tackled him. He put his hand inside the car and stuck the little pink note.
And he let mosquitoes in the car.
On the windshield on the inside.
Everybody, Highway 4.
His arm would have been in an arm lock if I was sitting there.
Now, Nancy. Highway 4 in Orlando area. Everybody watch out for rest area Rambo. And he looks like a miniature, like a miniature wannabe Elvis. His hair is like greased back, like a little. Seriously,
it's the funniest thing.
No,
ever.
He's got he wants to be
on the
Elvis.
Stage. He needs to go on the stage and be a.
But anyway, no. But Diva Linda, they don't want people living in rest areas and camping because of from our side of the world, like is the homeless situation. So there's that where people are living in their cars. But I know a lot of people who live on their boats. They are full time.
Well,
that's my house.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. And so there are people that live in San Diego, mostly the ones that I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people here have been forced out of the marinas because of these laws that say they can only have X amount of people living on their boats. So what they've done is they've taken to going into the less active harbors or the ones that are less attractive and just parking and anchoring their boats, and they live on their boats out without the advantages of a marina. And then they just take the skiff in and use the facilities and all that kind of stuff. And so there's been quite a problem maybe 2 years ago with abandoned boats. I mean, I think you do that one winter and you're probably going, this probably wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But when you're desperate, you do what you have to do. So, but abandoned boats are quite the thing here. It hasn't been quite as bad maybe the last year and a half. I don't know if that has to do with the pandemic or whatever, but you see these old boats rocking and rolling in the marine, and not in the marinas, in the bays. And you wonder, how are these people getting along? But fact of life, I guess.
Wow.
Well, I was thinking more of people living in a boat because they wanted to, not because they're desperate. It's like you could be Jeff Bezos on your yacht and go take that bridge down.
No, listen, he had a bridge come down or something. I don't know, but
no,
listen,
they told him no.
This is important. Diva Linda, do you listen to yacht music on your boat? Like there's this whole new music genre, yacht music. Do you listen to yacht
started
music?
Last year. Last year that we started that. And, but I have to say, it's just like any kind of, Sirius XM or Spotify or anything like that. After you've heard the loop a couple times, they tend to buy the same songs and
Oh my God, are you serious? Just the same thing.
The Beach Boys,
the
Sloop John B.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. That's the same thing as when you're driving and you go through all the radio stations. You cross the county line and you hear the same playlist again. It drives me bonkers.
And it all starts with Hotel California.
Madison, Wisconsin has good. If you go to university towns, it changes. Universities run their own radio stations. And they are cool.
Yes.
They are cool. But okay, so let's talk about some of these places that you went to, because it sounds like you. Okay, so you on the boat are now in the kitchen doing kitchen-y, like cooking and entertaining things. So Adam is out playing captain, right? I don't mean playing derogatory. I mean, this is a fun adventure. He's doing the adventure, and so do you get him? I mean, this. I have to say, this is like even the RV thing. It sounds like a whole bunch of work. Like really, to do the boat thing? Is it that much work to get
Well,
it started?
it
Get going?
depends. Yes, and 100% determines how much money you have, to be quite frank with you, about how much of the work, the opening and closing and maintaining the boat, you're willing to do yourself, or you have somebody else to do. There are people who open your boat, there are people who close your boat, there are people who maintain your boat, there are people who wash your boat. It's a whole industry down here, and I'm sure it's the same everywhere. So, you can, if you have enough bedrooms, you can hire somebody that will cook, or you can hire somebody that will drive you. It just depends on what you do. Now, my husband is hands-on, so he doesn't want anybody touching anything. So he spends his whole summer and part of a couple of months in the winter actually coming down and, quote, fixing the boat. I don't know what that entails, but it's lots of things. Boats being out here unprotected, not in a garage or in a covered area, they deteriorate quite quickly and easily. And if you have any wood whatsoever on the boat anywhere on the outside, that's a yearly maintenance thing. So, so my husband does all the driving, and he does all the maintenance pretty much. We hire people to go under the boat. That's another thing. You have to have sinks or something like that underneath the boat, and zincs, and you have to hire somebody so you have to hire divers to go under and put zincs on something. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something for everybody here to get their hand in the middle of. So then cooking, I'm the food and beverage manager. So my husband is probably driving and maintenance, and I'm the F&B, the food and beverage manager. And, it all tends to work out very, I could cook, 20-course meal in the kitchen we have.
Wow.
It wouldn't be hard at all.
Cool.
It's a, more limited space, but you can do it. I mean, I have everything I need to do it. Do you want to do it?
No.
Some days I think, okay, let's have a big, especially when it's cooler. You want pot roast, or you want, meatloaf, or you want one of those. You have to remember though, you're cooking on propane, so you can't have that oven on for 4 hours. But and then if you do crock pot or slow cooking or the hot pot or whatever you do, you got to remember too that there's every time you bring an appliance aboard, something else has to go off.
Oh.
There's only so much room. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do so we have, you'll see most of my fishes, you'll see a lot of cheese, crackers, and fish. Shrimp is really easy to do dishes with. Salads, soups are good. And we buy those from a market up the street. You thank God make their own, and so then we just stock up on those. So anyway, and I think that's pretty common amongst the boaters that I know, unless the wife also loves to do the driving and the scrubbing. I mean, there are women that love to do that sort of stuff. That isn't ideal, but I guess you do what you do. So I pretty much just do the F&B stuff. My husband does the driving and the maintenance.
Cool, because you have to divide it up because you're in a small place. You're in a small space, and you have to kind of learn who's going to do what. Otherwise, it's like I always pack the car because I have a system according to where we're going. And so it's the only way. As soon as anybody even carries a bag, I'm off. I'm like, I don't know if this got in the car or not. Like, just let me do my thing. I know it's a very Virgo anal thing, but I know what's happening. True. If I just go do it, I count my bags. I know this has gone in here. I've gone from this room to that. And as soon as somebody gets involved, I get in the car, we'll be halfway to the place we're going. I'll look at Nancy and go, did we pack this? Did we pack that? And it's always there. It's like, and Nancy just on the last trip, everything I thought was gone is not. But then I did leave the cream cheese in the cooler for 2 days. So without anything in it. So that's,
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's small.
But so this is cool because you said your trip started at Pike Place Market, which, I mean, this is like an institution in itself. Pike Place, I mean, you've been there, and a lot of IFTWA writers, and I know you went there also living there. I mean, it's one of the places that we really want to go to because it really reminds me of Europe, with the old markets of Europe. It reminds me of Cape Town, South Africa, very much with those kind of markets. But it's like you're going on a boat with your stuff. So, I mean, is it in close distance to Elliott Bay, or like, I know this is
Yes.
weird questions, but
Yeah,
this is fascinating how you're
it's
doing
about,
this.
yeah, it's just about by car. So we have a car that we have here. So it's about a 15-minute drive at that. It's very close. 10, 15 minutes, depends on, if they've got a street torn up, or, you're having to exit a different way, or there's a police issue or whatever. But if everything is just right, it's about 15 minutes away, maybe 20 minutes away. And parking has gotten much better than it used to do. And every once in a while they have issues with too many homeless people and too many people that are panhandling and stuff. I mean, it's an easy place for them to be because there's a little park there that they can be, and then they get overly aggressive, and then somebody, gets, then when the pandemic came, they had to shoo everybody away because they couldn't have people being that close together. Now, I don't know, it's always the back of, I think, everybody's mind as well. If not here, then where, then where do they go? But anyway, Pike Place Market is clean. It's easy to get to in a variety of ways, and it's a great experience. It really is. I love it. I stock up on everything I think we're going to want for the summer. We have a freezer up above, so I try to get things that are easily freezable. And then your green stuff, your green groceries, and so forth. You have to find a place as you roll around to go to. But you can stock up on crackers and whatever. My lesson first year lesson was snacks are important, because if you meet somebody, you have to have something to feed them. If you're going to have them over. I have a lot of wine. I didn't have a lot of snacks. We're not a snacking people, but you can't put potato chips out, when you're going to have Cabernet. So you have to learn to buy some smoked salmon and capers and things like that. So Pike Place Market, you can get wonderful, fabulous bakery items, fish items, produce items. There's hard goods, that for souvenirs. There's anything that you could possibly want. It's clean. It's you can see the original Starbucks, which is always fun. Everybody heads right to that place, to Starbucks. And it's the one, where the original logo, where you can see her boobs. The logos has boobs on it, and thank goodness they didn't take it away, because they took it away everywhere else.
Madam Star Boobs.
Yeah. Star boobs.
Well, this is interesting, because you say you went from there, but then you went to Holsbo, which is a Scandinavian town, and we were in a Scandinavian area too when we were in Seattle, and it's, I think, near the North Shore, and it begins with a B.
Ballard?
And for some reason, Ballard, yeah, that's where
Ballard.
It was beautiful. Oh my God, it's a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood, and it feels like Frank Lloyd Wright went in there and did a bunch of, the housing. The residential areas of Seattle are fascinating. Just, there's sometimes there's like, here comes all the Victorians, and then now we're going to be retro. Now we're going to be Frank Lloyd Wright. I mean, it's really fascinating. So is that
gorgeous?
Is Holsbo near there or away from where we're talking about?
Yeah. So we're about 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending where you want to go in Ballard, and if you want to brave the bridge. So bridge things here are difficult, challenging, because the bridge is raised here. So you don't know on any given moment how long you're going to be delayed because of a bridge opening. And since there's lots of boaters, there's lots of bridge raises. Not every boat needs a bridge raise, but a lot of the sailboats do. And certainly a lot of the freight boats and so forth and so on need that bridge raise. So, Ballard's across the bridge. I enjoy going there. It's they have lovely old restaurants that have been there for 1,100 years and made it through the pandemic, which is nice. Lots, of course, marinas to see, small towns. It's near Edmonds. I don't know. Anyway, so it's all good. Yep, Ballard's a wonderful town to go to, and being in Seattle, you're centrally located to everything. You can go to Olympia, you can go to South Center, you can go to the airport, you can go to Ballard, Queen Anne. Just Belltown is another one that's quite wonderful. It's a part of the downtown area. So
I think we were near there. Yeah, we were in Belltown. We were, because there was that big lake where people were doing that dragon boat thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was cool.
It was awesome. I mean, you could just
That was very cool.
It was just so diverse, and just again that architecture and the gardens. Oh my God, the gardens of the Pacific Northwest. I don't care if it's
Yeah,
pouring rain, people are
yes.
still taking care of their gardens, and how people
Yep.
use color on their, some people
The
paint their
houses.
houses
Yeah.
bright orange and
Yep.
purple, like you feel like you're in Mexico. And then some are doing
Yeah.
flowers that way. It's like how everything is,
Yep.
and open windows. I feel somebody went in and said, everybody needs windows. Don't close off your houses. Even if it's raining,
Yep.
you need to see out and see the colors of the garden. So it was a very interesting experience to just be part of that and be there in spring when everybody's bulbs were coming out,
Oh, that's
all the
awesome.
tulips.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So Polsbo, Scandinavian. So that's some interesting history. So bakeries are big, right? That's
The
you get
bakeries
to
are
have,
big, and of course they've evolved over the years. That their main downtown area has changed. Just over the many years that I've been involved with the Seattle area. But this is a good place to take your boat. The bay is easily accessible, and there's always room, and you can within 5 minutes take your skiff down, run it over there, and then you can be back as well. And it's a great place to go get some groceries. If you need major grocery shopping, you just hire an Uber car and they take you over to the Safeway or whatever. But mostly you stay in town, and that Scandinavian bakery is, the line is always, I don't care what the weather is, the line is down the street with locals and visitors. Not quite so bad in the winter, but certainly in the summer and spring and fall, watch out. Wonderful delicacies, and I like to go buy a bunch of stuff and stuff it in the freezer. Yeah, it's a great town,
listen,
great walking town, easy.
and
And you
Safeway
have a dog
stores are
park.
pretty cool. They always have a good
Cool.
wine selection that I've
Yes.
noticed at Safeways.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
always good on wine.
Yep.
I'm like,
Safeway's
and they do
good. Yep.
tend to bring local stuff in,
Yep. Yeah.
that's kind of what
Washington is pretty much, they're devoted to that. Most of the restaurants, and most of the chain markets are, and they're good about putting, little signs that say these are local, because the local stuff looks a little different, obviously, than the commercial stuff, and it's always it costs more as well, but it's worth it. It's good stuff.
Now, what about
So that's
Blakely
Paulsville.
Harbor?
We like it.
Oh yeah,
Now
Polsbo. That's where
Blakely.
so that's where the dog park is, and that's where your little Scotty likes it out there. And then, but Port Ledlow, I wanted to go there first. That's your little puppy's favorite place is Port Ledlow. Where is this?
Yeah.
Because I think we went there. I swear we were there.
Well, I don't know if I assume you can get there, but I don't know. I always go by boat, so I don't really know. So it can't be too far. I
know
don't know.
Ludlow, Colorado.
I don't drive there. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another one that has a lovely harbor. And what you're looking for when I say lovely harbor is there's not too much a rolling of the tide. With the tide's going in and out all the time, and it's swirly and icky, then the boat rocks, and it's not as pleasant. This is a nice, pleasant harbor, lots of room for boats. They have a nice landing for skiff boats. But there's nothing there but condos and this great walking beach. And this is where we introduced this dog to water. You don't know whether Scotties are going to take the waters or not because they're not a water dog. But this one, there was another dog with us at the time. There's a couple with a dog, and that dog loves the water. So, of course, our dog, being younger, followed the adult dog right into the water up to her friends. I think she had sort of a shock when she sort of noticed that her feet were lifting off the ground. So stopped that.
Like,
she wasn't going to do any paddling. Yeah. So so that's a lovely beach, and but you don't go in for groceries or anything like that. I think on the other side of it, of the island is where the commercial stuff is, because there's an awful lot of visitors and local people who live there. So there's got to be a place to shop, but I've never done that. It's just a lovely place. There's a big resort there too, and just a lovely place to relax and not be distracted by going into town every day and all that sort of stuff. You just pretty much stay there, and the weather's always good. It's a nice sheltered bay, and and we enjoy going there. And now, especially now that we see how much the dog loves it. So, it's a hard packed beach, and the water doesn't fall right off. So there's an opportunity for the dogs, depending on how big they are, to go out a little bit. Some of these you have to watch because they made a beach, but they didn't make the beach to go out very far. You step out and you're down in the hole. So you have to be careful.
Yeah.
I just found Port Ludlow, and no, we did not go, but we almost did. That's why, because we were going to go to Olympic National Park, but it was snowing up there at that time. Sequim, we were going to go to Sequim and go up that area, and that day it was snowing. Sequim. I can't pronounce anything up there.
Anything? No, don't. Do not try Puyallup. That's Puyallup was the hard. Everybody calls it when they first get there Puyallup, but it's Puyallup, and these things are. There's a lot of Indian names here.
But now Blakely, I wish we were doing this in video because you are actually on your boat right now. But Blakely Harbor, so this is by Bainbridge, and didn't you go to Bainbridge? Isn't there a garden that you went there before Bainbridge?
Yep. I went on a whole trip there, and I think IFTWA is having a press trip in a couple weeks or a month or something, where they're just going specifically to Bainbridge Island. There's a lot of stuff to do there. It's quite beautiful.
Cool. So this is like on the other side of it, the eastern side.
Yeah, you have to take you probably can get. You have to be able to get to it by car, but we're just talking about boating, so I don't know. As I said, I make sure we have food and drink, and Alan drives the boat, and I ask where we're going and what time we'll be there, and that's that.
Does this skiffy thing, like, are you trailing it like a trailer on a car, or do you blow it up, or what do you do?
You don't deflate it. I'm trying to figure out how to tell you this. You don't deflate it because it's very difficult to inflate, and they're sort of hard rubber boats, and they are lifted
like a dinghy, but
out
hard.
of the water. It's a dinghy, it's a skiff, and and so they're up on the back of your boat or on top of your boat or in the middle of your boat. Depends on how your boat was built and how much money you've put into the boat for your skiff. So you do see when you're out in large bodies of water that people will trail their dinghy or skiff behind them just because they don't want to deal with having to put it up and down, because it is a bit of a chore to do that. So once you get it down, you don't want to necessarily put it back up. So if we go to Paul's boat, it goes down when we get there, and it doesn't go back up until we leave. And as I said, some people though just trail it all around, and it and at times it snaps because of the way these people drive, and or the the ropes weren't tight enough or something, and you find dinghies floating. Dinghies and canoes and kayaks are things that you sort of sea debris, and then you have to call the Coast Guard, and then the Coast Guard makes this big announcement. Yellow dinghy, license number, blah, 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 is out in the middle of someplace. Whose is it? And go get it. It's very interesting.
Oh my God. That's like Google, like there's a stalled car. Is the car still there? No. But there's a tire left in the middle of the road.
I know, speed trap ahead.
It's like Cannonball Run, but with a yacht, I want to go on a yacht. I want a yacht day with you guys. Could you imagine?
That'd be great. We'll take you to Blakely Island. You'd love it.
Yeah, this would be fun. And, I love that you're doing the food and wine pairings, and, because, there's the times that we do things too, like, wine, like Iris Vineyards and stuff. We'll have our thing. And, but it's like half the time it's like it's this balance where suddenly you're on a boat or you're hiking, and, Nancy and I are always with dogs or something. And then suddenly you have to look decent, and then suddenly you have to have decent food. And you're like, like the other night I had to cook a chicken dinner for someone. I went, oh my God, I haven't roasted a chicken in years. I don't know how to roast a chicken. I did it. I made the stupid mistake of saying, I'll have dinner for you when you get home. And they're a lovely couple in Eugene, Oregon. And I'm like, because, they love cooking, but they were coming home from Portugal, England to the States. And I'm like, when you're coming home, you're not cooking. We're going to cook. Well, then I was like, the tailspin oh my God, and they know how to cook and eat, like they have good taste. And I'm like, what are we going to do? And Nancy's like, you opened your mouth. We could have just gotten
Yeah.
pizza. But you said you would make a roast chicken, but it did turn out okay. But it was a flat spin of, oh my God, so because you get used
What have I agreed to? Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, but you get
exactly.
used to,
Yeah.
we all get in our comfort zones, I think. And then, this is what
I
the
think
beauty of this
when
kind
I'm,
of travel.
Yeah, when I cook on our boat, there's two types of cooking. There's cooking when you're on the run going to some other place that you've just stopped for overnight or whatever, and then there's cooking when you're in a place or in the marina, and you can't cook when the boat's going because things roll and they crash into each other and they fall out of the pot and all that kind of stuff. So that that on those days it's sandwiches and you can't use the microwave because there's not enough power. You have to have a different type. You have to shift the power to the microwave and all that. Yeah. You have to. Yeah, becoming an engineer just looking at what our voltage is. But I found that it's best to make a dinner or a snack where people can put their own stuff on their own. You give them a entree or a base. That's right. Tacos are good. Any kind of salad. That's why you live on salads. That sort of thing. Chicken dinners. Generally, I buy the chicken dinner and then bring
that's
it
what
out,
we do. Buy the rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
Get the rotisserie chicken in the market. It will save you every bit of hassle on the planet.
And they're good. I have visions of the diva coming, inviting people for wine on her yacht and showing up in a dress with galoshes on.
I know.
Well, I wouldn't be the only one in galoshes, so it's all fine. When you're out of places, when you're wearing your Ralph Lauren's and loafers,
trying to not
sort of look
slip
at you like you're gonna slip. You're gonna
slip on the deck.
Yeah. You mean my husband learned his lesson last year? Was it last year? No, the year before, where he wore his Crocs on a new boat on steps that weren't down to the bedroom that the carpet slipped on him, I think, and that's when he ended up in the hospital. So you got to be sure that you're not wearing a shoe that can flip off easily. It's got to grip along with you. It's got to grip your foot. It's got to grip the floor. I mean, it's a whole deal. It's
I'm
an
interested
interesting
in those
lifestyle,
shoes,
right?
that you can put your your toes inside they have. It's like wearing no shoes, like a fake foot, like you're putting your foot in a foot.
Just the sole.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, runners use them, but I have such bad ankle, flat feet. It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a granny half the time. Like I'll be on my feet all day, and then next thing you know, I'm like, I can't walk. But it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's like, to me, it's the shoe thing. I don't like wearing shoes.
No, I hate it.
So
me either. I like sandals and flip flops and all that, but I found
like to go barefoot.
Slides, anything, slides, barefooting, flip flops, any of that stuff is right. I mean, like right now I have on peep toe sneakers, and so at least my toes can peek out. But the bottoms are
that's
rubber.
a cool thing. Yeah.
Oh, so we know your toes are painted, right? Are they, even if you're on the boat, are your toes painted?
Well, golly, Lisa.
Of course. Yeah.
I had to make sure.
I find that, now I had a hard time with that when I was in Alaska. That was awful. That was really awful for me. But here in the Seattle area or in, any of those marinas, you can just pretty much within 5-10 minutes, you can find any service that you want. Facials, toes, nails, hair, whatever.
You can go to Richmond and do all the facial things. And Richmond, was it Richmond, British Columbia that you were in? With all the dumpling trail and facials all in one day.
Oh, God. Oh, they had that foot massage. Oh, my God. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to touch my feet. But it was the best thing I ever did in my entire life. It's fabulous. Yep.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to remember that. It was quite an experience. Yeah, that was. They kept, oh, no, you have to. Yeah. And then when we were waiting to get into the restaurant, our guide wanted to go into what would be like a Ulta beauty shop and a beauty salon sort of thing. And she was showing us all the types of Asian products that she uses on her face. And one of them was the snail mask. And I
Oh,
rolled, so she bought each one of us one. She bought each one of us one and told us to, try it in the privacy of our own home and let it go. And, actually, if you get by the name.
Yeah. Did
Mm-mm. Diva Linda, you went out of there a little bit. Are you still there?
She's still thinking about the snail mask.
Oh, she's going in and out.
I
Well,
know.
Diva Linda, she's there. Oh, you got puppies. Yay. Diva Linda, listen, so excited about your European cruise because it's been a while since you've been out of the country other than British Columbia. And I know that you and Alan are going to have an amazing time. And Alan's got a report back for our IFTWA show on Veterans Day. We're going to be doing a special show on, just World War II sites and, memorials. And, we're going to look at military history. So I know, he served as well. And so it's going to be great to have him on the show. And then also to, catch up with you afterwards because you get to wear nice shoes. I know you're going to get to wear nice shoes somewhere along the line. So we need the shoe report. But everyone, again, you can follow Diva Linda on her blog. It is allingoodtaste.info. Get some shoe advice if you need it. But also, we should just have a blog on shoes, Diva Linda. But everyone, of course, keep up with her on blendradioandtv.com. Go ahead. What did you say? You going to do a shoe blog? Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going in and out.
Yeah. I got that move. But today, thank you guys very much for having me on. I appreciate it. It's wonderful.
All right. Thanks, Diva Linda. Always fun. You went in and out there, so you did sound like you were ready to beam up to Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Here I am. I'm actually fighting my Scotty. But my husband's trying to get my Scotty, and she's trying to
there it is.
eat my computer cords and blah blah blah. So we're here. So everyone, it's all good. Thank you.
Diva Linda's every first Saturday now. Big Blend Radio. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thank you for joining us. Take care, Diva Linda. Safe travels.
Yeah, be safe.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.